Hi everyone, good
Hi.
evening. Okay, so in our last session, we have discussed how to install the PSM component Privilege Session Manager, and we have successfully deployed a Privilege Session Manager, and we have seen all the configuration files, logs related to the Privilege Session Manager. So with this, we have successfully implemented a Cyberark PaaS solution, that is Vault, PBWA, CPM, and PSM components. Okay, so let me walk you through PBWA, CPM, and PSM installations through the theoretical document for today. And from tomorrow onwards, we will move on to the integrations part. Can set up the DR vault we need to set up. That is one more thing comes under part of implementation. And there is one more product called PSMP Privilege Session Manager Proxy. So we need to install that as well, which comes under the implementation part. So for today, I'll just quickly review whatever we have done so far related to CPM, PVWA, and PSM components. Let me share my screen. Can you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we.
Yeah. So after installing the digital vault server, I walked you through summary with a document regarding the vault installation. And now we will look at CPM, PVWA, and PSM components. I'll walk you through whatever we have done so far regarding the installation and the configuration file services, whatever we looked at regarding that particular component, just to summarize. Okay. So this is CPM and PVWA part. So in this session, we are going to look at the functionality of CPM and PVWA components, how to install CPM and PVWA, and how to secure and harden the CPM and PVWA. So remember, in our labs, we have not hardened our servers except the PSM. I have not hardened the vault, I have not hardened the PVWA component, and I have not hardened the CPM, but only during the PSM installation, I have hardened the PSM. Okay, and later I'll show you how to harden these components. Okay. Next, so PVWA and CPM functionality. So this is how the PVWA page web interface looks like. We have already seen after installing the PVWA, we logged into the web interface with an URL, password vault URL. So after hitting that password vault URL, we can able to see this sign in page, which is password vault web access interface. So this password vault web access must be installed first after the digital vault. Okay, this we already discussed. We have to follow the order of installation. So after installing the vault server, we need to go ahead and install the PVWA. It is not possible to install CPM or PSM before the PVWA installation. Okay, that is not possible. So the PVWA, what is the purpose of this PVWA? So this PVWA enables both end users and administrators to access and manage privileged accounts. Means this PVWA interface will be used by CyberArk administrators, in order to apply policies or in order to onboard privileged accounts or in order to do some configurations, we will log into this web interface and we will do the configurations. At the same time, the persons who are using this product in organization, maybe Intel team, database team, or application team, whatever may be teams existing in organization. So they will secure their privileged accounts in this CyberArk, and every day they will log into this PWA interface and they will connect to their server securely. So means PWA is an interface used by both end users in the sense the customers who are using this product in the organization, and at the same time the persons who are working on this product as a CyberArk admins will also access this interface in order to onboard their privileged accounts or to do some policy configurations. Okay. So PaaS component configurations are accomplished via PWA. So these are the PaaS component configuration in the sense the policies. Okay, whatever the policies that we can apply, so we can do it from the PWA web interface. Okay, so let me log into the lab. Parallelly, I'll show you from the lab so that it will be very easier for you. CyberArk 1. So PWA interface, this can be accessible from a browser, Google Chrome browser within the organization. Okay. So right now I am accessing this browser from PWA server. It is not necessary to access only from PWA. It's a web interface in an organization. Okay, provided they have to allow the firewall. So if they allow the firewall, this PWA can be accessed from anywhere. It's a web interface. So this is password vault URL. So this address, okay, win-98v1. Can someone tell me what is this server? What is this host name? Any one of you? What is this host name? Which server it is?
Isn't that PWA or the Vault server, I think?
So I got two answers from you, Ravindra. Vault server and PWA server.
I think that could be the Vault server.
No.
No?
So
Okay.
this is PWA. This is PWA server. Okay. We are accessing the PWA web interface. It's a PWA server. So if you want, I can show you win-98v. So we are on component server, PWA server. If I go to properties, so win-98v, this is our PWA server. Okay. So it's a PWA interface. Most of the people will get confused. This is a vault address. No, we are accessing PWA server. It's a web interface. In organizations, they will have multiple PWA servers which will be configured in load balanced environment. I repeat again. So if the organization is having 2 or 3 PWAs or 4 PWA servers, they will configure all these 4 PWA servers in a single load balanced environment. So load balancing means they will have one specific VIP, virtual IP. So in that case, they will share the load balanced URL. Okay, so load balanced URL. So in that case, this URL, this is not an individual PWA URL. Okay, so we are going to get a VIP virtual IP which is configured in the load balancing environment, and we are going to hit that load balancing PWA URL so that the traffic will get diverted to the multiple PWAs. Okay, so let me hit this. Okay, so this is the PWA web interface page, and here we can see authentication methods. Okay, so if I click on change authentication methods, please choose your sign in authentication method, CyberArk and LDAP. So we have selected these two authentication methods during our PWA installation. So during the PWA installation, it asks us to choose whatever the authentication methods that are available. So during that time, I have selected CyberArk and LDAP. Okay, so that's why we can able to see too. So if we can select other authentication methods, SAML and all, we can see other authentication methods as well. But we need to integrate those authentication methods with CyberArk later. Okay, it's just enabling the authentication methods in the PWA interface page. Okay, so let me log in with CyberArk authentication. Okay, so I, as a CyberArk administrator, I logged in order to do some policy configuration, component configuration. So if I want to go and configure some policies, the left side you can see master policies. So these are all the policies. Later I will discuss what are all these policies. So dual control policy, check-in, checkout, one-time password, and password management, required password change every X days, verification, session management. This is related to PSM, PSM session monitoring and isolation, record and save activities, and audit retention period. Okay, so we can set these policies on the platforms as a CyberArk admins, or we can create some saves here. Okay, these are all the operational tasks. Later I will show you. Okay, and at the same time, end users will log into this interface, and they can able to see their privileged accounts. So we have accounts tab. So if they click on accounts, so here they can able to see their privileged account, their target server address, etc. And they can able to connect their privileged account. So right now we have not onboarded any privileged accounts. So that's why it is not showing any privileged accounts here. Okay, so these are the default accounts which got created after PSM installation yesterday. This is for our CyberArk purpose, CyberArk PSM functionality purpose. These default accounts got created. Right. Let me go back. So this is the web interface. Next, C, yeah, CPM. So CPM component is responsible for password management operations. That is changing, verifying all target account passwords. Whatever the privileged accounts that we are onboarding into CyberArk product, if we apply password management, that is CPM, to those accounts, our CyberArk CPM component will automatically rotate the passwords, automatically verify the passwords. Okay, so see here we have a policies required password change for every X days. Required password change for every X days, required password verification for every X days. Okay, so based on the values that we are going to define here, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, or 24 hours, whatever may be. So those passwords will be managed by CPM component automatically. Okay, I will explain you the flow, how CPM is going to change the passwords, how CPM is going to verify the passwords, and there is one more concept called reconciliation. CPM will reconcile the passwords. Okay, so I'll later explain you what is reconciliation. But for now, just remember CPM is a component in CyberArk which is responsible for password verifications, rotations, and reconciliations. Okay. Right. And this component is also responsible for scanning of privileged accounts. So we have seen after CPM installation, there is one service that got created. Can someone tell me what is the name of that service? Which is responsible for accounts discovery. Any one of you? What is the name of the service which is responsible for running accounts discovery? Any one of you? It's one of the CPM service. Which service is responsible for running accounts discovery? Okay, what are the services related to CPM? Any one of you? What are the services related to CPM?
It's a CyberArk password manager and CyberArk central policy manager scanner.
Yes, Tika. Yes. So CyberArk Password Manager Service and CyberArk Central Policy Manager Scanner Service. So this CyberArk Central Policy Manager Scanner Service is responsible for accounts discovery, for running accounts discovery. So means this CPM component, CPM accounts feed and auto detection operations, that is discovery, designed quickly to locate critical accounts and credentials, analyze, provides a view to assess the risk of each account, provision. Accounts can be provisioned in the vault in a simple and initiative way. So means using this CPM component, CPM will not only manage the passwords of privileged accounts, it is also responsible for running the discovery within the environment, organization environment. Means it will scan all the privileged accounts existing in their domain, in their active directory, and it will give us all the list of privileged or non-privileged accounts. Then we will onboard those privileged accounts into CyberArk. Okay. Next, if you have any questions, guys, please you can ask me here itself. Next, component communication, CPM and PVWA. CPM and PVWA, how they will communicate. Okay, so see here on this screen, we have vault here. Vault is a centralized location where all privileged accounts information will get stored in the form of safes. We have seen already some of the default safes that got created and stored on our digital vault server, which is the centralized location of CyberArk. So end users or IT staff or auditors or vault administrators, the persons who are working as CyberArk admins, we call it as a vault administrators. So they both will access the PVWA web interface, okay, for accessing the privileged accounts by end users or for vault administrators to configure some policies, etc. They will access this PVWA web interface. So this PVWA will talk to the vault server via CyberArk own proprietary protocol 1858. We have seen during the PVWA installation, it asks us to specify the vault server address, vault port number, that is 1858, and vault administrator account and vault password. Means this component, every component will communicate to the vault server with 1858 protocol. Similarly, CPM component, Central Policy Manager, will talk to the vault server via 1858. During the CPM installation also, we have specified the vault connection, vault server address, and vault port number 1858, and vault administrator account and password, so that it logged into the vault and it created some default saves and stores the configuration files related to the CPM. And this CPM component is responsible for managing the target accounts and servers. Managing the target accounts and servers in the sense the privileged accounts existing on the servers, target servers, whether it is database servers, Windows servers, Linux servers, or applications, whatever may be. Okay, so this is the flow. The CPM and PVWA exchange information. However, all the communication is done through the vault. Okay, so direct exchange communication is not there. So these components will communicate through a digital vault server. Clear, guys? Next, PVWA prerequisites installation. What are PVWA prerequisites? Any one of you? So in order to install the CyberArk PVWA component, what is required? What prerequisites are required? Yes, please. Whether it is right or wrong, just give me the answers.
Vishnu, I'll take a stab on that. So basically on the software side, you have to have the C++ package and a .NET framework installed. And of
Yes.
course, your server has to be up and running with proper operating system on the hardware side. I mean, there's no more hardware. I mean, it could be a logical server, but basically those three things: server with
Yeah.
right operating system, .NET framework, and C++ package.
Okay. Yes. 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 C++ packages are required. .NET framework is required, and we have to follow the system hardware requirements for the operating system that we are installing, whether it is 2016 or 2019. And memory specifications we need to follow as per the CyberArk documentation. How much RAM should be allocated? How much CPU should be allocated? That is hardware requirement. What is the software prerequisite for installing this PWA?
I think we also need a digital vault installed prior to it, isn't it?
Yes, okay. So what should be installed ahead before installing the PWA? So let us say I want to install PWA. Everything is ready for me. Vault is ready and my PWA server is ready. Okay. I want to install the PWA. First, what I need to install as a prerequisite?
SSL certificate on the
Yes,
website.
SSL certificates. Yes. What else? SSL certificates and yeah, Deepan, I think you have already given me the answer. Apart from SSL certificates, what else?
On the web server, we install that, and
Yes, on the
also
web
it must be
server,
installed
we need
on the
IIS roles, Internet Information Services roles. Okay, so since PWA is a web server, we need to install IIS roles. Prerequisites are we need to have Internet Information Services roles on that particular server. Then only we will install the PWA. Okay, so this PWA prerequisites will install IAS roles. So first we need to have IAS roles on that particular PWA server. So you can use patch deployment scripts provided in the installation package automatically to install and deploy the components. Okay, what do those scripts do? Install the Internet Information Services prerequisite software. So without installing these IIS roles, you can't install PWA. Okay, so since it's a web server, you have to install the IIS roles, that is Internet Information Services role, as a software prerequisite. We have already done. So these are the IIS prerequisites. Okay, that is common HTTP features, health and diagnostics, security, basic authentication, Windows authentication. You no need to remember these things. These are all part of script. So when we execute that IIS prerequisite script, it will install all these .NET, ASP, .NET management tools, Microsoft management tools, etc. So let me go back to the PWA server. Let me show you the software prerequisites package. So we have copied our CyberArk softwares here. If I go to PVWA, password vault web access, inside the password vault web access, we have, see here, in the installation automation folder, we have PVWA prerequisite script. Okay, so we have executed this script. Just open the PowerShell and run pwwa./pwwa prerequisites. It will install all the IAS roles, whatever it is showing here in the document. These are all the roles that will get installed as part of prerequisites. If you want to do it manually without using this script, okay, you need to follow this documentation and you need to select all these features manually. Okay, let me show you. Go to server manager on that PWA server. In server manager, you need to go to add rules and features. Next, rule based feature. Next, so here you can see web server IAS. Okay, so if you expand web server IAS, web server, see here common HTTP features, health and diagnostics, performance. So if we go back to document, common HTTP features, health and diagnostics, security. So if I go back, so if we expand common HTTP features, again you have some features that need to select. Health and diagnostics, HTTP logging, request monitoring, security, basic authentication, Windows authentication. Okay, so under security, basic authentication, Windows authentication. So you need to follow this documentation and you need to select manually in order to install the IS roles if you want to go with manual. So better, my recommendation is to use the automation scripts. So that will entirely install all the required features regarding the PWA IIS roles, Internet Information Services roles. Right. So remember, for a web server PWA, we need IIS roles to be installed. Without installing these IIS roles, you can't install the PWA. Next. So this is how we need to execute the script. So in the screenshot, you can see pwwa underscore prerequisites dot ps1 PowerShell script. So this script will completely install all the IIS roles features which I showed you in the previous screenshot. And finally, we should get a message that the script executed successfully with the value 0. Okay, so pwwa prerequisite script execution ended, operation succeeded. Okay, right. So launch the installation automation PowerShell script with admin privileges. Allow the script to complete and review the script.log. Okay, so this is script.log, which will be there in the installation folder where you executed this PWA prerequisite script. So just open that script.log and review and make sure the script executed successfully. So this script not only will install the IIS roles, it will also create a self-signed certificate, SSL certificate, which is required for a secure connections, and it will bind that self-signed certificate with that particular host. Okay. So once the script got executed, always test the web server installation by opening the browser and connecting to the default website. This is an important test prior to installing the PWA. Means after installing these IS roles, okay, on the server, just hit the web browser URL. So if you hit the plain web browser URL, you should get IIS message, that is Internet Information Service message. Okay, then go ahead and install the PWA. So right, so this is what I am talking about, SSL certificates. So this script, PWA prerequisite script, will automatically create an SSL certificate and it will bind that SSL certificate on the PWA server as part of PWA prerequisites. Let me show you again where we can see this. On the PWA server, go to IS Manager. You can search in Start menu. Go to server manager. Go to tools, IAS manager, Internet Information Services. Yeah, it got opened here, Internet Information Services. So if you expand this host name under sites, default website, right side, if you go to the bindings, this is HTTPS edit. This is the certificate that it got generated and binded with this particular computer, with this particular host. This is the SSL certificate that got created. So the script will automatically generate this SSL certificate and it will bind the certificate. So this we can also see it in the certificates here. Server certificates. Yeah, see here in the server certificates, we can see that particular certificate that got created. Next. Next, PWA installation. So once the prerequisites are successful, go ahead and install the PWA. So first we need to have software packages to be there on the server. Next, after running the installation file, the first steps are common. Okay, welcome wizard, that is installation wizard, enter user information, accept product license agreement, enter user information, company name. So these are common for every software, whatever we are running. And next thing is destination locations, etc. We need to select as per the component installation. So destination location, PWA is going to be installed in init pub www root password vault folder. We have seen already and we have installed in the same location. C drive, init pub www root password vault. So this is where our PWA got installed. This is the path, cnet pub www root password vault. So again, it's not only necessary to install this in a particular C drive. In organization, it depends upon their drives, how they created on their server. If they have multiple drives with a different labeling, D drive or E drive or H drive, whatever may be, so they can go ahead and install in that particular specific drive, whatever they need. Next, so after choosing the destination location, configuration files destination. Okay, select the destination folder for PWA configuration files, that is C CyberArk PWA password vault web access. Can someone tell me what is the configuration file of PWA? Anyone of you? Configuration files destination. What is that configuration file that is going to be created for PWA? What is the name of the configuration file? Any guess?
Web.config.
Very good. Web.config. Web.config is the configuration file of PWA. For Vault, it is dbpam.ini. For PWA, it is web.config. For CPM, it is cpm.ini. For PSM, any one of you, yesterday we have seen. What is the configuration file of PSM? What is the name of the file? It's basic underscore PSM. Basic underscore PSM.ini. Right. So this is the configuration file location, that is C CyberArk PWA. Next, setup type, it will ask us to install the full password vault web access or mobile password vault web access. Mobile password vault web access, some organizations will install this feature so that they can allow users to access the PVWA from their mobiles. Okay, it's a mobile password vault web access. So most of the organizations will not use this feature. Okay, so go ahead and install the full password vault web access. Next, web application details. The next step we will get is to choose the web application details. Application name is password vault. This is default. Application name is password vault. Authentication types. So here we have different authentication methods that Cyberark supports. Um, uh, we need to go ahead and select whatever the authentication that are required. Okay, so remember, this is just enabling the authentication methods. On the PVWA page, it will just reflect, it will show us what are the authentication methods that we have selected. Later we need to integrate those authentication methods. So LDAP, we just enabled it in our installation phase, but we need to integrate LDAP, that is Active Directory, with CyberArk. Okay, later in our session, maybe tomorrow, we are going to discuss about LDAP integration. So next, default authentication, we need to choose default authentication here. So we have selected CyberArk in our case. So default mobile authentication. So since we have not selected mobile authentication, it will be graded out. Okay. Next, vault connection details. This is important. Okay. So we need to specify vault address and vault port number 1858. Previously, we have seen CPM and PVWA exchange information via vault 1858. So this is the step. So every component will talk to the vault server with 1858 CyberArk own protocol. If someone asks you, can we change this port? Can we change this port means, is it possible? Any one of you? Can we alter this port number 1858?
No.
I don't think so.
No, it's not possible. It's own CyberArk product. Okay, so they have designed in such a way that their own proprietary protocol 1858. We cannot alter this port. Okay, right. So we need to specify vault address, port number, and PVWA URL here. Okay, so in case where load balanced is relevant, replace the address with the URL of PVWA's load balanced. I discussed already. If we have multiple PVWA servers, let us say 4 PVWA servers in your environment. So these 4 PVWAs will be configured in a single load balanced, which is VIP, virtual IP. So everybody will use that virtual IP for logging into the PVWA interface, virtual URL, load balanced URL for accessing the PVWA, so that the traffic will be diverted to the different PVWAs. Next, it will ask us to enter the vault username and password. So this is the vault default administrator account. With this account, it will log into the vault and it will create some saves and store the configuration files related to PVWA. Okay, that's it. Okay, click on finish. The installation will be done. PVWA installation. The main highlight points during the PVWA installation are, we need to select what type of installation we are doing. Full mobile password vault. If we need mobile password vault, we can select mobile password vault as well, and the destination's location where we want to install this particular product. And the main point is authentication types, that is whatever the authentications that we want to enable, we have to select that, and we need to specify the vault address, vault connectivity details, etc. So these are the highlight steps during the PVWA installation. Next, verify installation. Okay, so after installing the PVWA on the PVWA server, we need to verify this PVWA install log. Okay, I have shown you last time PVWA install log. It will be there in the temp directory, temp folder. So if you go back and search on the PVWA server, PVWA install. So we can quickly review that log file, pwd install log, to make sure our installation is correct and if you can see any errors in the installation. Okay, just for reviewing. So always better to review the logs. See here, this is pwd installation log. So we have already reviewed this log during our installation. So successfully connected application pool. Application pool means password vault of web application pool started successfully. Okay. So this log file we need to review after installation. Next, pwd verify server environment. So on the server, in the directory, see here C inetpub www root password vault. So this is where our application got installed. Make sure in the password vault all these folders and files got created on the server. Okay. So if I go back, we have already seen this now. C inetpub www root password vault. See, all the required files got installed here for the web application. Right, just for reviewing whether everything is okay or not. Next, PWS service, IS services. Okay, what are the services related to PWA? Any one of you? There are 3 services mainly. What are the services of PWA? It's a web server. What are those web services? That is IS admin service, Windows process activation service, and worldwide web publication service. I showed you Windows process activation service, IS admin service, worldwide web publishing service. Okay, so these are the services that should be up and running on the PWA. Okay, so the PWA should be dedicated server with no other applications, specifically web applications installed. PWA services can be illustrated by executing IS reset space status command at the administrative command prompt. Okay, so this is the command is reset space / status, or else you can directly go and check on the services. So if you want to check in the services, just open the services and search for IIS admin service and Windows process activation service. Somewhere here it will be Windows process. Yeah, Windows process activation service. It is running. And worldwide web publication service, it is running, up and running. So if you want to hit the command, open PowerShell and run the command is reset is reset space / status, enter. See here, is admin service, Windows process activation service, worldwide web publication service are running. Okay, it is the command. Next, log files location. So logs are web application log, web console log, and task engine log. So these log files will be there in the C Windows temp file directory. We have already seen. Let me go back to the logs. These are the web application logs related to PWA. C Windows temp PWA. Okay. So PWA web application log, console log, web.console log. Next, verify the vault environment, PVWA vault environment. So we need to log into the vault and we need to make sure all the configuration saves, default saves related to PVWA got installed or not. PVWA config save contains all configuration settings for password vault web access. PVWA config save, this is very, very important. Yesterday during PSM installation, it asked us for specifying the PVWA config save. So this PVWA config save contains all the configuration settings of PVWA. Okay, so let me open this, log into the vault server. This is Privatar client. So log into Privatar client. Okay, these are all the saves. So PVWA config save. Where is that? Yeah. So open this save. Just double click on that. So PVWA config save contains pv configuration.xml file and policies.xml file. So PVWA configurations will be stored under this save, PVWA config save. Okay, and PVWA private user pref save contains user preference settings for the password vault web access. PVWA private user pref save. Okay, let me open that. Close this save. PVWA private user prefs. So it contains configurations of the users. Okay, so right now we have not created any users here, so that's why we can able to see only one user here, that is PVWA app user. So those user prefs will be stored under this particular PVWA private user pref saves. Right. So PVWA report save. So later we will generate some reports. Those report task definitions will be stored under this PVWA report save. Next, PVWA config save. This is important. So we have seen this PVWA config save contains policies.xml file and pv configuration.xml file, policies.xml and pv configuration.xml file. So policies.xml file contains UI and workflow settings of all the platforms. Means whatever the privileged accounts that we want to onboard. Suppose if we want to onboard some Windows domain accounts, if we want to onboard some Unix accounts, if we want to onboard some database accounts. So in order to onboard those database accounts in CyberArk, we should have plugins. We should have platforms. We call it as platforms. So Unix accounts will be onboarded to Unix platform, Windows domain accounts will be onboarded to domain platform, database accounts will be onboarded to database platform. Similarly, application accounts will be onboarded to application platform. So basically, we need to have platforms. So those platforms configurations will be seen under this policy.xml file, which is stored in the PVWA config save. Let me go back and open that file for you guys. Close. PVWA config save contains policies.xml. Right click, retrieve and open. It contains the platform settings. Okay, so platform base ID is CyberArk. If you want to onboard CyberArk accounts, this platform we need to use. And similarly, Windows domain platform base ID is Windows accounts. If you want to manage Windows domain accounts, this platform we need to use Windows domain platform and Windows Server local accounts. If you want to manage local server accounts, we need to use this platform. Those platform settings we can see here as a logon account, whatever may be. And similarly, Windows desktop accounts, Unix accounts, Unix SSH, okay, terminal devices. If you want to manage SSH based accounts, you need to go and onboard those privileged accounts using this SSH platform. Similarly, we have different platforms available in Cyberark for onboarding and managing all the end user privileged accounts. SSH keys also we can able to manage. So basically this policies.xml file contains all the platform settings related to Cyberark. Next, very important point, pwd config safe contains policies.xml file. So this policy.xml file contains the workflow settings of all the platforms, available in Cyberark. Next, the platform base ID ties the platforms listed in the policies.xml with the platforms contained in the password manager shared safe. Can someone tell me what does this password manager shared safe contains? This statement says the platform base ID ties with the platforms listed in the policies.xml file with the platforms contained in the password manager shared safe. What does this password manager shared safe contains?
Maybe
Last
the
time.
credential, maybe the credential for the shared accounts, shared privilege accounts.
No.
Oh.
Not the credentials related to shared accounts. So this is related to CPM, password manager shared safe. So this password manager shared safe contains policy.ini files, which is nothing but platforms again. So let me open that password manager shared safe, this one. Okay, so it contains policy.ini files. Okay, these are nothing but again platforms. For example, just now we have seen some Windows, right? Windows domain, Windows local. Yeah, see here, Windows desktop accounts, Windows domain platform. Okay, Windows server local accounts. So if you want to manage database MySQL platform, you want to onboard, if you want to manage SQL accounts, we need to go and onboard the privileged accounts into this platform. Similarly, Unix accounts, Unix SSH keys, etc. Okay, basically this shared safe contains all policy.ini files platform settings. I want to show you one thing here. Let us say, let me take this Unix platform, Unix SSH. Let me open this file for you. So see here, this is the sample policy file for managing Unix server passwords using SSH protocol. So if I scroll down, you can see policy ID, that is name of the platform is Unix SSH, that is Unix via SSH, and you can see some platform parameters, minimum validity period, reset, override, etc. And all the platform configurations you can see here: allow manual change, perform periodic change. Later I will discuss what are all these configurations. So these are all related to the platform configurations of this particular Unix platform. So every platform, every policy.ini will have these kind of settings. Okay, so if I open the other policy, it contains policy ID and some parameters that is defined here. So the same we can see in the PWA as well. So if I log into PWA, What happened? IAS reset. Okay, we have restarted IAS. Running. Make sure your volt is running and no locks here. Okay. Administrator. In the wrong password. Right. So in the left side, if you go to administration, in the administration tab, you can see platform management. If you go to platform, you can see all those platforms, whatever we have seen in the password manager save, shared save, that is policy.ini files. So for example, this is Unix platform. Okay, Unix SSH. If I edit this platform, so it contains UI and workflows. Okay, so that is target account, platform name, etc. and properties. Platform base ID is Unix SSH and some parameters auto change on verify, etc. And we have some other fields. Every platform we have these values, these parameters. So these platforms will be stored on the digital vault server in the form of ini files, policy.ini files. Okay, right. So next, PWA vault users and groups. So we have seen after installing the PWA, we have PWA app user got created and gateway user got created. App user is responsible for internal processing of web application, whereas gateway user is responsible for launching the sessions, establishes sessions to the users will access to the vault. Okay, so this is app user and gateway user, PWA app user and gateway user. And here CPM user is password manager user. Next, hardening the PWA. We have not hardened the PWA, so later I will I'm skipping this part now. Later we will harden the PWA. We will run the hardening script and it will harden the PWA server. So next, multiple PWAs. Okay, let us see this concept. So in order to have fault tolerance and disaster recovery in the web interface, we are going to deploy multiple PWAs. And the other reason is to reduce the web traffic over WAN lines. Okay, and provide a secondless privileged web interface for external users, vendors, or contractors. It depends upon the organizational requirement. So if they want to have a specific PWA interface for vendors and contracts, they can use that particular web interface. Or else if they want to divert the traffic, the load on the PWA, they can go with multiple PWAs. So right, see here. Naming convention is usually irrelevant. Whatever the names that we want to give during the installation, we can go ahead. PWAs can be load balanced with an external hardware load balancer. See here, this is the load balancer. Under load balancer, these 4 PWAs are configured. Means user will hit a load balanced URL. So based on that, the traffic will get diverted to any one of the PWAs and the user will be logged into the PWA web interface. So this is how, if we install multiple PWAs, so all those PWAs will be configured into a single load balanced URL with a virtual IP, and we will share this URL to the end users in an organization, and everybody will use that load balanced URL so that the traffic will be diverted to other PWAs. Okay, and all these PWAs will talk to the vault. That is common. Next, so installing the multiple PWAs, same uh, like the way which we installed. You need to first install the IS prerequisites script on that particular PWA server, and then run the PWA installation package. Choose the destination location, cnet www root password vault images, choose the configuration files where to store, and choose the application details, specify the vault server address, vault port number, etc. The installation is same. Okay, right. Next, so how to configure this load balancing? So in an organization, we'll have a network team. Okay, we need to contact them, or we can also call it as LB team, load balancing team or networking team. We need to share our CyberArk PWA servers, whatever the PWAs that we have. We need to share our PWA host names and IPs to the team. They will configure all these PWA servers, whatever that we are having, under load balancing under VIP, and they will share a VIP to us with a load balanced URL. So from our CyberArk side, no need to do anything related to the load balancing. Okay, just we need to share the list of all PWA servers host names and IPs to the LB team. They will configure an URL under a VIP load balance, and they will share the PWA URL for us. Next, CPM installation. Any questions related to PWA so far? Anyone of you?
Vishnu, I got a follow-up question on the load balancing.
Yeah.
So the configuration and how the traffic is routed to which PWA server is something we do not control. We just give the host name to the network team and they will have the control over the routing of the traffic to different servers, correct?
Yes, Bhavan. So
Okay.
again, in load balancing, we have different kind of load balanced. For example, I can give you, we can call it as the round robin method. Okay. So in the load balancing round robin method, so first the traffic will go to the first PWA, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Again, it will repeat to 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how the round robin method works. It depends upon the what type of load balancing, external load balancing that the team is using in that particular organization. But anyhow, users will not get impacted. The traffic will be diverted to specific PWAs based on the load at that particular point of time the users are connecting to that particular PWA. Okay.
Right. Right. Yep. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so CPM installation, I'm going ahead. So CPM installation, we need a .NET framework to be installed on that particular CPM server. So again, we have CPM prerequisites, CPM pre-installation prerequisites script existing in the CPM folder. Let me go back to CPM server. Go to the software, C Cyberark Central Policy Manager. In the installation automation, we have CPM pre-installation script. Okay, so first we need to run the script. It will install the .NET framework, and also it will make some settings related to TLS on that particular server, and it will make some registry changes on that particular server related to .NET, etc. So we have to get this message operation succeeded when we run the script, and we need to review the script.log file once we executed this CPM prerequisite script. Right, CPM is a straightforward installation. CPM prerequisites, again, Microsoft C++ packages are required, reducible packages, we need to install that. Next, so after running the CPM installation folder, we need to choose the destination location, that is C program file Cyberark. So this is where our Cyberark central policy manager CPM is going to be installed. C Cyberark program files Cyberark. Let me go to that folder. C program files 86 Cyberark. So this is where CPM got installed. C program file Cyberark, that is password manager folder. So inside password manager, configurations will be stored related to PWA. This is the destination location. Next. Next, this is important. When installing a new CPM, select no policy manager was previously installed and press next. Select as only in case of reinstalling CPM software that will use the license of previously installed CPM. Okay, so do you already have CPM in our Vault environment? Yes, no. No policy manager was installed. Since it is the first time, we need to go with no policy manager was installed previously. Okay, we need to select this option. Yes, this is an update from the previous version of policy manager, means either if we are reinstalling that particular CPM on the Vault environment, then you need to go with this option. Okay, so we need to choose this. Next, Vault server address and Vault port number 1858. Next, Vault administrator account. This account will be used to create a Vault environment, to create some saves and store the configuration files related to CPM. Finish. It's a straightforward installation. CPM. Only thing is we need to select whether it is a no policy manager was installed or not, and choose the destination location where we want to install. That is C program files 86 Cyberark is the location where the CPM got installed, and we need to specify the Vault server connectivity details, Vault server address, port number, and Vault administrator account. That's it. CPM got installed. Next, install the verification CPM install log. Again, it will be there in the temp directory. Just review the CPM installation log to make sure no errors in the installation. CPM install log. Verify the server environment, CPM server environment. On the CPM, make sure all the installer files got created. That is on the program file Cyberark password manager. Just now I showed you. Inside the password manager folder, we have bin, sample, scanner, etc. Inside the password manager, we have bin, scanner, sample files, vault.ini files, etc. Make sure all the files are existing. Next, services. CyberArk Password Manager executes all password management operations. See here, CyberArk Password Manager, this service executes all password management operations. This is the main service of CPM. CyberArk Password Manager is the main service. So if this service is not running, you can't able to verify passwords, you can't able to rotate passwords, or you can't able to reconcile the passwords. Means password operations will not work if the service is not running. If the service is not running, in the sense CPM is not running. Okay, so CPM is a component which is used to automate the passwords, to rotate the passwords. So if this service is not running, our privileged accounts cannot be managed. Okay, next, central policy manager scanner is associated with accounts discovery utility. As the name itself indicates, scanner, this service is responsible for scanning of all the privileged accounts existing in their domain. Later, I'll show you when we discuss this accounts discovery, how to run that accounts discovery, and how this service is responsible for pulling all the accounts, scanning all the accounts within their domain. So remember, these are the two services related to CPM. Out of this, the main important service is Cyberark Password Manager service. Next, logs related to CPM. We have seen pm.log, pm_log, and third-party logs. As I discussed, there will be some plugin related log files will be stored under third-party logs. So pm.log contains all log messages, including general informative messages, errors, and warnings. Error log contains only the warning and error messages. So if something went wrong related to CPM, we need to go ahead and check this pm log and pm_log. Let me go to that installation folder and show you the logs. So this is where the CPM got installed. Inside the logs, you can see pm pm console, pm trace, and there are some third-party logs. Right now, we have not onboarded any privileged accounts, so we can't see any third-party logs here. But this is how the third-party looks like, third-party logs. So here it is with that, but some of the privileged account it is showing as a root log. Okay, this is a Unix-based log on the screen. Later, I will show you what these third-party logs when we onboard and manage privileged accounts. Next, history logs. This is not required. Just ignore this history logs. Next, vault environment. CPM verify vault environment. On the vault, we have seen these are the default safes that will get created. Password manager, AD, internal info, pending, shared, and temp. Out of this safe is important. Password manager shared safe. It contains policy.ini files, which are nothing but the platforms, CyberArk platforms. Next, so password manager safe. So this password manager safe contains CPM configuration file, that is cpm.ini, and AD configuration.xml file. So password manager safe stores CPM configuration file. Next, password manager shared safe. So we have already seen shared safe contains all policy.ini files, which are nothing but platforms. So the .ini files in the password manager shared safe contains automatic password management section for each platform. I showed you when we edit this platform in the PBWA under administration tab. If you go to platform management and if you edit this platform, you can see some UI and workflow. Those are nothing but platform parameters, that is automatic password management sections, etc. for every platform. Okay, customization of platform settings that are written to this file is accomplished by editing specific target account platform, the PWA. So if you want to do some modifications, if you want to enable some features on the platform level, yes, we can go ahead and do it from the CyberArk PWA. So again, those whatever the changes that we have done will be get stored under this safe, that is password manager shared safe, within that respective policy.ini file, which is nothing but the platforms. Next, vault user, default user, password manager will get created. The first CPM user created by CPM installer is password manager user. Yes, we have seen already. So after installing the CPM, this password manager user is the default user that got created in the vault. Okay. So see here, when creating a safe using a PWA, CPM must be assigned providing the password manager access to the privileged accounts. Means later we will create some safes in order to onboard some privileged accounts. In order to onboard some privileged accounts into this CyberArk, we will create some safes. So at safe level, we will assign this password manager user. So if you want to rotate the privileged accounts passwords, so this password manager will be associated to safes. Okay. So at safe level, we will define this CPM user, whatever the CPM that we have installed. Next, hardening CPM. So we have not hardened this. I'm skipping the part. Hardening later we'll see. Multiple CPMs. Okay. So this is the use case here. A single CPM cannot accommodate the total number of accounts managed. Means it depends upon your scale of implementation. This we discussed already. So if it is less than 1,000 passwords, we call it as small scale. If it is 1,000 to 20,000, we call it as mid scale. If it is 20,000 to 1 lakh privileged accounts, we call it as the large scale. And if it is above 1 lakh privileged accounts existing in an organization, we call it as a very large scale implementation. So based on that, number of privileged accounts that an organization wants to manage. So based on that, we need to deploy the CyberArk components. Okay, how many PVWs, how many CPMs, how many PSMs that we can install. So a single CPM cannot accommodate the total number of accounts managed. Okay, for example, if an organization is having some 1 lakh privileged accounts, okay, and if they have only one CPM, then the load on the CPM is too high and it cannot able to manage all the passwords. So in that scenarios, they can go with multiple CPMs in their specific regions or zones. Next, accounts are managed in multiple sites or VLANs protected by firewall. See here. So here, end users will log into PVWA. PVWA will communicate to the vault. Okay. So here, they have deployed one CPM here. This CPM is managing these devices, target systems, and this CPM, okay, second CPM is managing these target systems. Means multiple CPMs are deployed. And again, this CPM will communicate to the vault with 1858, and this CPM is also communicating to the vault with 1858, and this PVW is also communicating to the vault with 1858. Means if you stop this vault server by any chance, okay, by any chance, if you click on this red light, okay, you will get fired in the organization. Okay, so your vault is down, means entire your Cyberark product is down. Users can't able to log into PVWA because PVWA is also communicating to the vault. If your vault is down, all the components will get down. It's a business impact to the organization. Okay, we will do it when we do some configurations on the vault. When we do some integrations, we will definitely need to stop and start the vault. So that we will do it in with a change request within the organization, and out of business hours we will perform such kind of configurations whatever we want to do. Okay, in general daily day-to-day activities, if someone stopped this vault server, they will get fired. Okay, right. So make sure you should be very careful when you log on to the vault server. Next, support requirements. So this I'll discuss later. So in order to manage the privileged accounts passwords, CPM, the firewall should be allowed from CPM to those target devices. For example, if you want to manage some Windows accounts, Windows privileged account, so from our CyberArk CPM server to those Windows servers, whatever we want to manage, there should be 135,445 ports to be open. These are nothing but firewalls. So we will reach out to firewall team, network team, and we will ask them to allow the firewall from our CyberArk CPM servers to those Windows target servers, whatever we want to manage. Similarly, if we want to manage Unix servers, port 22 should be enabled. Firewall 22 should be enabled. Similarly, database servers, these are the default ports. These are nothing but the default ports. Okay, so later we'll discuss when we onboard some privileged accounts, these firewalls, but these are very, very important. So without opening this firewalls, our CPM cannot log into those devices and can able to manage the passwords. So firewall should be allowed from our CPM to those target servers, whatever we want to manage. See here, multiple CPM servers, active passive. CPM is installed at multiple locations but enabled at one. Activating and deactivating CPMs is a manual process. This point is very, very important. Activating and deactivating CPMs is a manual process. Remember, very, very important point. CPMs will not be in load balanced. I repeat again, CPMs cannot be configured in load balanced. It is not possible to configure the CPMs in load balanced. Why? Because these CPMs we are assigning at individual safe levels. Previous slide I discussed, when we create a safe, we will assign this password manager user. Means we will assign the CPM at individual safes. So it is not possible to configure the CPMs in a load balancer. Okay. So individual safe level, we will define the password managers. See here. Multiple CPMs are active simultaneously. Individual safes are assigned to individual CPMs. This is important. Individual safes are assigned to individual CPMs. Each CPM must be licensed separately. Yes, license will be consumed if we install a separate CPM. So these are the target servers. Let us say these are the target machines where this particular CPM is managing, and these are the target machines where this particular machine is managing. These are for Windows. Let us say these are for Unix systems. Okay. So this is the name that they have given, CPM_win. So in our case, it is password manager user. We can rename that password manager user. So here on the screen, they named it as CPM_win and CPM_Unix, two CPMs here. So this CPM is managing Windows account, this CPM is managing Linux account. Both the CPMs will communicate to the vault. Next. So multiple CPMs are active simultaneously here. Sorry, this is the wrong screen. Right. Naming convention. Create a naming convention to name each CPM according to the safes it will manage. So it depends. It's not only necessary to name it as password manager 1, password manager 2, password manager 3, etc. It depends upon the organization's naming convention. For example, if they want to manage the privileged accounts by region wise, okay, let us say APAC region, EMEA region, or NA region, they can name the CPM of that particular region with CPM_APAC. Okay, this is not a standard naming convention. It depends how they want to label their CPMs. Okay. So if they want to go by site, Boston or etc., they can go with the names. Or if they want to go by environment, they can go with production environment, development environment, or DMJ environment. It's up to them. Next, installing additional CPMs. So if you want to install additional CPMs, so for PVWS, installing additional PVWS, it's a straightforward installation. We can go ahead and install the multiple PVWS. So similarly for CPMs also, we can straight away install the CPMs. But one point we need to remember here, if at all we want to install other PVWS, other CPMs, that is second, third, and fourth, rename the first CPM to match your desired naming convention. Okay, so we can rename it. So if you want to rename the password manager user, we can rename the password manager with whatever the name based on the region or site or environment, we can rename it. See here, rename the safes for the first CPM. So if you want to install multiple CPMs, let us say if I want to install second CPM now on a different server. So first you need to remember, we need to rename the safes of password manager underscore safes to a new name, except these three safes: password manager pending safe, password manager shared safe, password manager temp safe. So these three safes, we should not touch it. Password manager pending, shared, and temp. Rest of the safes with password manager underscore, that is password manager AD internal, password manager underscore info. So those safe names we need to rename it. Okay, we need to change the naming of that particular safes if at all we want to install the second or third CPMs. Okay, and also if you want to change the naming convention of the password manager, we can do that. Okay, we can directly log into the vault and we can rename this particular password manager according to the naming convention that we want. So in order to rename it, okay, we can simply rename this, but in order to reflect those changes, we need to run the credential file which is associated to the vault. Okay, later practically I'll show you how to rename and how to run this credential file so that this component again will talk to the vault server with the new naming convention that we have resetted. Right. So once you rename the password manager user, you need to restart the CPM service. Right. So see here, these are some of the safes examples, safe names, and for these safes, these are the assigned CPMs. For example, if I want to manage MS SQL accounts in the APAC region, this APAC CPM, I have assigned it at safe level so that I can rotate the passwords of these SQL accounts with the help of this CPM, which is placed in the APAC region. Okay. General configurations and recommendations. Okay, these are secure and isolated. These are not required, right? Okay, so this is how we have installed CPM and PWA component. So I'll stop it here for the day and we'll continue with our PSM part tomorrow, and along with the PSM we will integrate Active Directory with Cyberark. LDAP integration also we will look into how to integrate AD with Cyberark tomorrow. So for now, see here on the PBWA, we just enabled authentication method of LDAP. Okay, so we will look at this LDAP integration tomorrow. I'll stop it here for the day. Okay, guys, any questions?
I actually have some questions to everybody, because is that okay?
Yeah.
They're not to you, just to everybody. So I just wanted to know, like, if all the guys over here. I mean, I know yesterday we were able to do the software. I don't know what was wrong, but Rajiv kind of fixed it, and